Hello, I'm Christopher from Learnry, and in this video we are going to take a look at the TryExcept statement in the Python programming language. So by the end of this video you will know everything that has to do with Python exception handling. Now let's start off by taking a look at what exceptions are. Python has many built-in exceptions that forces a Python program to output an error when something in the program goes wrong. So when these exceptions occur, it causes the current process to stop and it then passes it to the calling process until it is handled. Now in the case where it is not handled, an error message will be displayed and the program will come to a sudden unexpected halt. So let's take a look at how to catch exceptions. In Python, exceptions or errors can be handled using a try statement. So a critical operation which can raise an exception is usually placed inside the try clause, and the code that handles the exception is written in the except clause. So what this means is that we can choose what operations to perform once we have caught the exception or the error. Okay guys, so as always I have my command prompt interface opened on the left hand side of my computer screen, and on the right hand side I have my Visual Studio Code editor opened. I have also gone ahead and created a Python file with the name of try, and inside the file I have an example of a TryExcept statement. So let's go ahead and we're going to uncomment line 2. Then let's save our Python file with the command Ctrl+S. So now I would like us to run the Python file so we can see the output of whatever we're going to get. But before we run this file, surely we are going to get an error. Now let's run the file, then I'll tell you why we got that error. So let's run our Python file by writing the command python, and the name of the file is try.py. Let's hit enter. Now we can all see that we got a type error. So this error is what we call an exception. So in order for us to avoid these kinds of errors while people use our applications, we basically make use of the Python TryExcept statement. Now first of all, let's take a look at why we got this error. So on line 2 we have a print statement, and inside the print statement we have basically passed an integer and a string value. Now we cannot add an integer to a string, and so that is why we got the type error, meaning that the 2 that we have passed to the print statement is of type integer and then the 3 is of type string, and because they are not of the same types, that is why we got the type error. So we can always use the TryExcept statement in Python to handle these kinds of exceptions. So let's uncomment line 2. Then we are going to uncomment line 4 to 7. So on line 4, as we can all see, we have the try statement, and then on line 5 we have the except statement. So whatever code we write inside the try block, the Python interpreter is going to try to run those set of codes, and when there is an exception or an error, then that particular exception is not going to be thrown out in our console unless we specify that it should do that. But then we are going to decide how the error should be handled. So in this particular example, on line 4 we have a try statement, then on line 5 we have a print statement. Now if you look at the print statement on line 5, there is a problem with the print statement there because we are trying to add an integer and also a string. And so over here, if we try running this code, we are supposed to get a type error because 2 is of type integer and 3 is of type string. And as we said earlier on, we can add integers to strings. So the print statement in line 5 is supposed to give us an error. But because we are running the code inside a try block, the error is rather going to be passed on to the except block. Then we can decide what to do about the error. So because line 5 raises an error or an exception, that is why the print statement in line 7 is going to be executed instead. So let's run the Python file again. So we forgot to save the Python file. So let's do that quickly. Then let's run the Python file again. Now as you can see, instead of the print statement on line 5 running, what happened was that the print statement on line 7 was executed instead. And that is because when the program is running from line 4 downwards, it gets to line 5 where it has to print the summation of 2 and 3, but it so happens that 3 is a string and not an integer. So for this reason, the print statement on line 5 is going to raise a type error, and because we have a type error or a type exception, then the except block is going to be executed. So whatever piece of code we have in the except block is going to be executed. Now inside the except block on line 7, we have a print statement which is going to print the string of text that says addition operation failed. So I want you to remember this, that any piece of code you have in the except block is what is going to be executed when there is an exception or an error in the program. So it is a best practice to always use the TryExcept statement whenever you are writing a piece of code that you are aware that can fail. For example, let's say you were fetching some information from a database, that could fail. Or even opening a file, all these operations could fail. So anytime you want to perform such operations, you have to do them in a try block so that whenever there's an error, you can handle the error in the except block. So that is going to be it for the try except statement. So the question of the day is, why is exception handling so important? You can leave your answer in the comment section below. Okay, so if you are new to this channel and found this video helpful, then click on the subscribe button and the bell notification icon below so that you'll be notified when new videos are uploaded. Bye for now, and I'll see you in the next lesson.